If I had to start over and leave my 9 to 5 to build a thriving business that matched my income, here is how I would do it. If you're new here, I'm Kirsten Allen, and I transitioned my Fortune 500 six-figure corporate job into my own consulting business that grossed over six figures last year and continuing to be on the uptrend. And now I didn't get everything perfect, but if I had to go back, there are 3 steps that I would focus on to grow my business to the level of my income and beyond. The first and most important step in this process is to get your mind right. Listen, I hit so many walls and had so many hurdles because it took some time to break out of the corporate mindset and into the entrepreneurial mindset. You're gonna have to think less like a producer and more like a director. And in the very beginning, you're gonna feel like you're both the employee and the CEO, and that is natural. The best thing to do is remember you're going to have to prioritize, be disciplined, and work around all the other responsibilities in your life. When I transitioned out of my job, I was a mom of a toddler, I was a wife, and growing this business on the side. So I got to learn balance on the job. Some things that I would do is prioritize time that I had before work and after work. Sometimes it was some late nights. But once I began to get some traction in my business, I was able to build a schedule that worked for me. And then as I transitioned and had more time, then I was able to really start to build some time in for creating content like this, for reaching out to clients, for having coaching calls and all of those things. But I think the myth is people think once they transition out of the job, they'll have more time. More time doesn't mean more money. You have to be effective in your processes and know how you're getting clients before you transition out. Otherwise, you're just going to be spending a bunch of time playing around, quite honestly, and that's not going to create you any money. Now is the time to start focusing on driving high value activities in your business, especially once you've transitioned out. That's one key lesson that I've learned on this journey. So once you've gotten your mind right and understanding what it looks like to be an entrepreneur, if you already haven't started your side business and building your consulting work or whatever that looks like, start now so that you can understand what skill sets need to be in place. And you're never going to learn everything, but you're going to get a good handle on the mindset that it takes to be successful as a full-time entrepreneur. Okay, so once we got our mind right, we're ready to go, we understand what this process is going to be like. Now, what I would do is focus on the skill set that I currently have in corporate. This is one thing that I actually ran away from when I first started my business. I was like, I'm not doing anything close to what I did in my corporate career. I want to do something different. And while that may be great, I think in terms of starting out, you want to look at your existing skill sets and you want to monetize those as quickly as possible. So what I recommend doing is jumping into the corporate space. Now you may be saying, oh my gosh, I'm getting out of corporate. I'm leaving my 9 to 5. Why do I want to jump back in? You want to jump back into corporate as an owner. And the reason that you want to do this is because you're already in the space. You already have a network. You already have a level of expertise and industry knowledge that you can package up and sell to another organization. That's going to be the easiest way to get some high value contracts in the door. This is what I wish I would have focused on, so that you can grow your business in a way that is sustainable, but have some quick cash coming in the door with organizations and relationships that you already have, okay? So once you've decided to do this, it breaks down into 2 things. What is the expertise that you have? The job roles, the results that you've created, the teams that you've worked on, what is the success that you've created? Then after that, what other competitors could I position this with? For me, I was in the tech industry. So I could literally go to any tech company and be like, hey, I've already worked with these companies in this particular area. I've developed, playbooks and sales materials and all of those things. I understand how this works. I have a methodology and a framework that I can bring to your organization in order to create XYZ results. You're going to be confident saying that in your own work because you know that you've done it. There is no refuting it. Confident sales. So whatever you are most confident in right now, that's the first thing that you need to package up and offer. And in my experience, and what I would recommend is if you're already in a corporate career, utilize that experience to get an instant contract as you're coming out of your role. So to that end, we're going to the second point, which is pull on your network. Most times when you start a business, I wouldn't go to creating an ebook. I wouldn't go to creating even a coaching program. I would start off with some consulting work that I could just do by referral. Who are the people in your network that you can reach out to on LinkedIn, text, or even current coworkers and say, hey, here's what I'm transitioning out to. Here's what I'm working on. I'm looking for my first few clients to do X, Y, and Z. That's the easiest way to do it. Most times we want to hop online and figure out how we can do social media marketing and what do we need to post on Reels and TikTok and all of those things. Instead of jumping into a sea where there are plenty of people all trying to do the same thing, why don't you dominate the ocean that you're already in? Connect with the people that you already have. Use and package the skills that you already have and put it right in front of them. So now you're probably thinking, okay, I know how to negotiate salaries. I know how to get bonuses and all of these things. But if I'm selling my services on my own, what exactly do I price that at? And if you want me to do a deep dive on pricing, let me know in the comments and I'll record another video. But for the purposes of this video, I want to give you a high level pricing example. You want to think about your overall cost. So when you go into business, you're assuming different costs, insurance, attorneys, accountants, all of these people that you're going to need to have in place in order to be a successful business owner. You want to have those things in mind as a baseline for your pricing. This is your floor, meaning I cannot do business unless I meet this particular number. Then from there, what I really like to walk clients through is looking at the impact. When it comes to your main problem that you solve. Like I said, if you are like me, maybe you're in a sales career or maybe you're in an HR career or marketing career, whatever the case may be, think about your role in this perspective. How many dollars have you touched? How much impact have you created in your organization? For me, it was millions and millions of dollars as a salesperson. So I understand that if somebody learns the skill sets that I learned and was able to hone in my role, that they can make millions as an organization with me just training one person. So while I'm not going to charge them $1 million, I could, then I can really confidently say, all right, I'm going to charge $25,000 for 3 months of my sales team coaching because that's a no-brainer. I know that when they get this right, each person in that organization is going to be able to 10 or maybe even 20x that investment in 90 days because they already have the infrastructure set up for success. Now, I just kind of threw out that number. Like I said, if you want me to do a deep dive, I actually have the 3 eyes on pricing that I just nailed down, and I'm happy to share that with you guys. But we can dive more into some pricing formulas, but the main thing is going to be that impact. What is the impact to the organization? And then it's going to include some other factors like budget, your industry, and all of those things. But if you can get that impact piece down, you're already ahead of the curve in terms of positioning yourself and being priced right in the market. And then the final thing I would do is beef up on your sales skills. If you're not a salesperson like me, you're going to want to understand how to communicate your value beyond just your referrals. But even if you have people in your network that are saying, hey, yes, we would love for you to come do this, you want to have a system and process for how you're presenting the offer. You want to have contracts in place. You want to be able to have your invoicing system up. So you're going to have to create a way for people to pay you. And you want to make sure that it's seamless. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on tools. To be honest with you, when I started my business, I had a whole lot of free tools that helped me be able to get my business up and running, from invoicing tools, even down to using regular software like Google Docs or PowerPoints for presentations and proposals. You don't have to use a bunch of complicated tech or expensive tools. You could honestly do an invoice in a Google Doc if you really wanted to. It can be really that simple. So create what I call your minimum viable system that you can use once people say yes, and walk them through from the discovery call to the proposal and then to the invoicing phase. Now, I can do a deep dive on that system altogether. So let me know if that's a topic that you want me to talk about. Just drop a comment and I'll post a video breaking down what the sales system and process you need to have in place in order to close some of these contracts. So that's it. At a high level, if I was transitioning out of my 9-to-5 and wanting to start my business, I would start high. I would not focus on ebooks, low ticket products, and even jumping into the coaching industry right off the bat. I would really focus on how can I utilize the skills I already have with a competitor of the company that I currently work for and get my first contract using my network. That way you can have a base of business while you're still working your 9-to-5, or if you're just beginning that transition and you got your savings set to the side, you can have this large opportunity that you're working, you're building relationships, you're building a network, you're building a use case and a case study that you can take and position with other corporate clients. And then from there, you can build your business into whatever you want it to be. But that's the easiest way that I would match my salary in that first year so that I can continue to be on the uptrend as I'm growing my business. Now, if you got to the end of this video, one, give me a comment below so I can see who actually watched this to the end. But if you have questions and you're like, okay, this sounds great. This sounds like a way that I want to transition my business. Maybe you're a wife like me and a mom, and you're like, I don't have time to be trying to figure out how to sell $27 things on the internet. And I'm too skilled. I am in a senior role. Me, I was an account executive before I left. I had worked my way up to the career path that I was desiring at that time. And so I knew I had a wealth of knowledge that didn't just get watered down to be whatever online wants me to be. And so if you are feeling that same way, but you're not sure what gaps you have to get this process started in your own world, I have something for you. I just created a brand new assessment that allows you to understand what key areas you want to focus on as you grow your business with these corporate contracts. We're going to ask you some questions. It only takes about 5 minutes, and then you're going to get a full detailed report where I'm telling you exactly what you want to focus on in order to grow your business with corporate contracts right now. So all you need to do is click the link below to take that assessment, and you will get your report right after you finish. I can't wait to see what your score is, and I'm looking forward to you taking ownership of your career, turning your skills into what you desire them to be, and doing that by going corporate. I'll see you on the next video.